It's doing Richard. How you doing? Mick. Mick, you've drawn twice. How is that even possible? I'm going to stop eating and start drinking. How are you all doing? Good. I just want to show you the view. We're now in Devon. There is a more serious reason I want to talk to you. Look at that. The downside is that big green patch of grass is ours. Yeah, new home. Mick, just remind me where you are. Where are you based in the country? Um, so we've got this ride-on mower that we negotiated in the price. Whilst I've been in and around groundsmen all my life, I haven't got a clue how to start this bloody thing. Anyway, I fumbled my way through yesterday and I started riding around on this ride-on mower without having the blades engaged. So that's my task today, try and cut the grass. Anyway, how are we all doing? Stone. Yeah, so we're now in Holsworthy in Devon. This is our forever home. We've moved around far too much. So this is it. Stuart's farm. It is really nice. I have to admit, it's been less warm the last few days as it has been everywhere. I wanted to just jump on first of all to check in with everybody, those that are available. Not done this for a while. It has been hectic. We've had a few issues with deliveries. That's quite an interesting one. I might share that one day. I've got some more sentimental, but they're worth quite a lot of money. Signed prints, Jack Russell's prints signed by him, this kind of stuff, that had water damage, and we didn't know in storage. So it was either how they were stored up in Birmingham, or something leaked onto them in storage. Because when they arrived here, it was gone. It was gone. And it's not just the print; it's a few other things as well. So we're going through a bit of a process at the moment as to who's going to take responsibility, which isn't always an easy task. People taking responsibility, is it? But what I wanted to—that's our problem, not yours, by the way. But if anyone's got any ideas on how to deal with removal companies and storage companies to take responsibility, please let me know. What I wanted to jump on with quickly. Sorry, Rafferty's just at the door. I put a couple of posts out recently just about the importance of too much detail from coaches more than anything else. Coaches, some parents, some commentators get carried away with it. And if you have a player that had technique in their head when they are running in, that is the wrong way to do it. If you have technique in your head in order to try and achieve an outcome, you are internal, you are not external. So a lot of coaches would say something like, make sure you pull your front arm down. To get a Yorker, make sure that you feel like your release point is at 2:00, something like that. It's all internal. The brain does not work like that because it stays internal. However, in matches, You decide what ball you want to bowl, and the outcome is everything. It's not about how your front arm looked. It's not about whether you actually release the ball at 2 o'clock. It's not about that at all. It's about getting the bloody job done. And so coaches, I've got a real fear at the moment. A lot of people I work with, both online and in person, although I'm doing less of that at the moment because of the move. Sorry, just spilled more coffee everywhere. There's a lot of young players, and I'm talking 12 to 18, 19, that talk a lot about technique. And I'm concerned about it because I think the younger players, all they need is external cues. They need fun. They need challenge. They need competition. They need to overcome problems, jump over that, bowl through that, jump over that as in length of running, keep your energy moving forwards. They do not need to know your load up starts here. Now, I talk quite a lot about that when I talk about my technical analysis. It is technical. Technique is the process to deliver the outcome. But when somebody is in competition, all they need is an external cue. For instance, to run in well or better, more efficiently. Imagine you're running on hot coals. Imagine you are running in long grass. That's an external cue. Because then you have to have a knee lift. As soon as you have a knee lift, your foot lands on the ground and uses the ground more efficiently. You just got dark. Hang on. External cue. When you are running, point your belly button at the target because that keeps you running towards the target. Through release to stay behind the ball, throw your fingers towards the wicket keeper. Those sort of cues, that sort of language. And I'm really concerned that coaches are overloading detail to players when they don't need it. Players hang on our every single word. I've had some professional players that have performed really badly or, not to the desired standard or levels, but they come off and said, yeah, but my front arm, okay, yeah, but my front arm actually felt really good. And if you have a look at the video, that's exactly what I was working on. Great, but you've just gone at 15 and over. That is where players need to understand, is it a technical session? In which case you don't have a batter down there. If it's a technical session, you do go into a little bit more detail, but you don't overload detail. You might choose one or two technical details for that technical session. When it's competition and in matches, you need an external cue that brings the technique together. If you have an external cue, I'm going to hit the batter's right shoe, the bowler Yorker. I am going to hit the off bail external cue. The brain will find a way, its best way of making it happen. That is what you need in matches. You just need a few really good external cues that the bowler then thinks about externally as opposed to internally to make it happen. That is what I'm really concerned about. I've got how do you make a change subconscious, or is it something you let your body do naturally? I think off season or in season. Sorry, I'm just trying to. How do I do that? I'm just trying to make it so I can see the full message. How do you make to make anything subconscious, you have to go through a bit of a cycle. First of all, you have to make it conscious. You have to be consciously thinking about the change. All right. But the language you talk about is what I'm talking about here, technical or cues, external, internal or external. The first part of it, Mark, is it has to be conscious. You have to go through that process until all of a sudden you test it. Does it still hold up? Until it's a real process. It's repetitions. It is drills, low intensity as well as high intensity drills, until it becomes a habit, something you do naturally, and therefore it turns into a subconscious. There is a process to go through. I don't believe that it's off-season specific. I'm a massive believer in just because it's 6 months in season, what you get is what you get with bowlers or batters or anybody. I think that there's a real opportunity to continue that change in season as well. Competition, really, that's just how you test what you change, isn't it? Um, Training sessions, that's how you change something. Don't forget that in order to make a technical change, you need a physical change as well. So you can make those physical changes during the season. Um, you can find those opportunities at home to do seam position drills, tennis ball, wrap a tape around a tennis ball, bowl the ball against the side of the house. Um, you can find those opportunities, that time it takes to make change so it becomes conscious into subconscious. I don't subscribe to as soon as you get to April, that's it. Because how are you getting better for 6 months of the year? Mark, have you looked at the language that pace labs use? Lots and lots of complicated types of things. Yeah, yeah. I've said on this, I know Steph really well. I think he's doing some really good work around shaping up how it's perceived that fast bowlers need to train. I like the way that Steph is looking to challenge beliefs. Um, so yeah, I am aware. I use technical chat as well, but I'm now more and more conscious of what did this player need in competition. Um, I'll tell you what is a really good book, Nick Winkelman, called The Language of Coaching. It's not cricket specific. In fact, Nick Winkelman is the S&C coach for the Irish um, rugby national team, or it used to be. Um, it really challenges coaches with the language that they use. To give an example, because he's S&C, he uses the cue, which I've used actually, on a bench press. I've not been to the gym for like 2 or 3 weeks because of the move. It's killing me. Um, Bench press, heavy weight, push your hands through the ceiling. That's an external cue. It's the same sort of thing. Um, Hit the shoelaces of the batter's right foot, external cue. The brain will find a way as long as it's the right cue. What else have we got going on? What else have we got going on today? So what we're doing today, I got to do a little bit of work, but I've just come off the bike. The what bike? I've managed to hook that up in the garage downstairs. This is our very first upstairs downstairs house. In fact, there's 2 bedrooms on the floor that you walk in, and then downstairs is mine and Emily's, and the garage and the bathroom. But because we've got a balcony here, this is ridiculous. Speaking of books, any suggestions for athletes to read? Athletes as in cricketers? I think that any books that people can read of the greats who is already successful. I mean, books, you pay 20 quid for a book. It's basically giving life lessons of success. So whatever you want to be good at, who's already good at it, who's written a book, buy the book, read it, and then implement it. The people that keep progressing are the people that get a bit of knowledge, and the gap between them reading and learning a bit of knowledge and implementing it is short. The people that procrastinate, uh, knowledge is not power. But to answer your question, Mark, what does the athlete want to be good at? Who has already been really good at it in history? Have they written a book? Buy the bloody book, read the book, and start implementing some of the gold that's in it. Some of the books that I've read, Bob Warmer. I've got loads of books downstairs. Some quite deep. Man's Search for Meaning. That was quite a nice one. I'm into podcasts at the moment, high performance podcasts. What are these people doing, especially around micro habits, really simple things that people can do on a daily basis? Absolute gold dust. But it's only gold dust if you start implementing it. Anyway, technical chatter, detail versus cues. There's a time and a place for technique, a good time and a place for technique. And there is a time for cues, especially when it's competition. One's internal, one's external. One will do the bowler an absolute favour in competition. What do I want to do this ball to win this ball? Go external. And then away from competition, that's when you can get into a little bit of detailed technique. Right, I've got to shoot. Going very dark. The screen's going very dark. It's very bright here. But look, it's Saturday morning with Barnesy. Maybe it's time to resurrect all this kind of stuff. Weekly newsletters are going out. There is an inner huddle that I'm calling it, that people are members of. And that's a WhatsApp group that I share resources, even more insights. So if you are interested in joining that, I'm giving away even more, even more that I've learned over the last 25 years, including resources. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to me. Right. Have a great day. I think we're off to the beach a bit later. Catch you later. Thank you for joining, by the way. I'd never take this kind of stuff for granted. I appreciate each and every one of you, and sorry for interrupting your Saturday morning.